Good morning, students. So, in the last lectures, we completed the principle of virtual work and minimum potential energy principle. Now, we'll go to a new topic. It's fifth module itself, the second part of fifth module, and it's about torsion. So, the next part of that means the second part of fifth module will be continued in the sixth module also. So the base for this part is very important to get the concepts on sixth module. So already in mechanics of solids you might have studied about the basics of torsion. Okay, so what do you mean by torsion? When a member is subjected to a moment about a particular axis, say z axis, torsion will be caused. That means if you are it's a twisting force, right? So twisting force is called as torsion. If you are applying force on this tip of this pen, this is called torsion. Similarly, if you apply forces in this gripper, see, I am applying force in, suppose this is z axis, I am applying a force like this, okay, and this is called as torsion. So initially we know that for a circular shaft, T by J is equal to tau by R is equal to G theta by L, right? This we have already studied from our mechanics of solids, where T is the torque, J is polar moment of inertia, tau is shear stress of the shaft, R is the radius of the shaft, G is rigidity modulus, L is the total length of the shaft, and theta is the angle of twist. Okay, so generally in a circular shaft, the object, if you apply any torsion on this object is not going to deform. This will not deform at any cost, right? This will be having just a twist. Just a twist will happen, right? This is just twisting, that's all. Okay, there is no deformation. The circular structure remains circular itself. So there is no such thing called plane deformation, which is very important. So there is no plane deformation in case of circular shafts. So in that case, we'll see this equation can be adopted. But if any cases, if a plane deformation is happening, in that case we cannot apply this equation. Okay, and from here onwards we'll consider theta by L will be considered as theta. That means now onwards we consider theta as angle of twist per unit length. Okay, in mechanics of solids we considered theta and L separately, but from this part we'll consider theta means it's angle of twist per unit length. Okay. Now, so from here we know that G into theta by L into G. So from here we'll consider torque is G into theta J. Okay, that means this theta is angle of twist per unit length. So the assumptions that we have made for a circular shaft, already I have told this, material of shaft is homogeneous and isotropic, which is very common. Plane sections of shaft remains plane after application of torque. If shaft is circular, section remains circular even after twisting. This is what I told you. So distance between normal, that means if you are drawing a line in a circular shaft, even after the twisting, if you see the structure, they're all equally twisted to an angle. They are just twisted to an angle. There is no deformation in that. Okay, so that is what, there is no plane deformation. Now in this module we are mainly depending on, or we are mainly going to see the characteristics of non-circular shaft. Okay, so what happens if the torsion of non-circular shafts are analyzed? Okay, consider say it's a square or rectangular shaft, and if you are applying torque, you are twisting it, okay, torque, what happens? This seems like to be if you are twisting your towel, somewhat this shape will occur, right? So here if you analyze that, here we have a square or rectangular section, right? So after twisting, what happens? Here your shape has been deformed, or a deformation has taken place. Similarly, in all these places, see here this line of deformation has gone like this. Initially it was a straight line, but from here this has increased, and this has, in general, a plane deformation has taken place. Okay, and this type of plane deformation is called as warping. Okay, this is called as warping. A warping has taken place in case of non-circular shafts. Okay, so suppose if this is a shaft which is having a rectangular section ABCD, and after applying the torque, T, what happens? This is side view, and this is okay. Now there has been undergone a plane deformation in this part, that is called as warping. Okay, now in case of non-circular shafts, they may not have axial symmetry. The shaft undergoes plane deformation as shown above. Okay, small squares at edges remain square after twisting also, but squares away from edges gets distorted due to action of shear stresses. See, here it remains a square, but here going through this length, it is changing its shape. Okay, this angular distortion leads to warping of cross section of shaft. So now warping can be defined as, warping is a scalar function which shows the amount of plane deformation occurred in a non-circular shaft which undergoes torsion. So main thing, warping is a scalar function which shows the amount of plane deformation occurred in a non-circular shaft undergone torsion, which undergoes torsion. Okay, so with this concept we are going to find the values, or we are going to analyze the torsion of non-circular shafts. So before going to that part, we'll recollect some parts that we have already learned from our module 1 and module 2. Okay, so we know that from Cauchy strain displacement relations, epsilon x, that means strain in x direction, is given as dou u by dou x, where u is the component of displacement in x direction, v is of y direction, w is of z direction, and shear strain is gamma xy, gamma yz, gamma zx, which is given as this equation. I hope you remember all these things. Okay, and also then Hooke's law, you know, shear stress by shear strain is rigidity modulus. Okay, so tau xy by gamma xy means g. Okay, now the third part is differential equation of equilibrium. This is mainly without body forces. If you consider this also, we have studied from the first module. Okay, so you just differentiate all the terms in a stress matrix, then you will get this differential equation of equilibrium. Okay, and then the boundary conditions is very important. Boundary conditions of an object in which the surface forces in x direction is Sx, y direction is Sy, z direction is Sz, nx, ny, nz are the direction cosines, then these equations. Okay, right? So what is this? Cosines means the cos of angle. If this is a normal vector, cos in x direction, y direction, z direction is called as its cosines. So with these concepts be in mind, I am going to derive the torsion for a non-circular shaft using a special method called Sen-Venance method. Okay, that we will do in next lecture. Okay, thank you.